So the question always comes up, what do you do when you're listening to records? Well, you can clean the house, which is not very fun at all, or you can clean your records, which is obviously a good time to do that. You can take out your records and clean them. But on our Fridays and Saturday nights, we like to play Bananagram, which is a word game, and listen to music. As the new releases start to roll in, I want to go over a couple of reviews with a couple of new albums that I picked up. Both are two-man bands. I want to go over the new Royal Blood album. Saw Royal Blood open for the Foo Fighters a few years back on their first album, which was Royal Blood, and I was just absolutely blown away. It is a two-piece band, bass and drums, and they are extremely hard rock with rhythm to it. So the first album was pretty melodic, even though it was hard rock. They had a second album that was How Did We Get So Dark? And it was just that. It was a really dark album, wasn't as melodic as that. So I was hoping that they would get back to the first album of Royal Blood with that. And with this album, Typhoons, it is completely different. Nothing like the other two. It's like if a hard rock band thought out to do a disco album, and I mean that in the greatest compliment. The album that is, and if you'll have to look at it, this is absolutely stunning. The vinyl of it is a turquoise clear, and I put it in a new sleeve. You know, it continues to come out where they put out the lyrics, but they put it in this cardboard paper that will scratch up your record. So I like to put them in a new one like that. But the Royal Blood on this one here, it plays really quick. You go, oh wow, this album's over, and you turn it over, but it is really melodic. It is upbeat. The tempo is it. It still has the backbone that they had on their first two albums of drums and bass. That whole running through that is just kind of a little bit of a start and a stop. It has heavy snare drum in it and that. But again, it's really upbeat and different than what their first two were, which in my opinion was really hard rock. Again, really different. Completely different in my opinion. There's actually one song that is a ballad on here that is slow, just with piano, and but different. Really feels like a transition album though, like they're still trying to find where are we going with this, because it's so different. It plays really quick and through, and it's like you flip it over and it's through again, but it just seems to be missing a little something. Just something like, again, they haven't exactly figured out what direction or what their sound is going to be now. I like it. It was completely different. It wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be at all. And again, ordered the pre-order indie release and got the really cool turquoise blue vinyl on that. So the next other album that I got was the new Black Keys, Delta Cream. It is a blues album, and I didn't get the indie release. I wish I would have now, and it is just black vinyl. One thing about that is they did it right. It's on two albums. Came in the nice little protective sleeve that you can tell right there to take care of your albums, but the logoing on the label is really cool, also from the Black Keys. But I like that they did it right with two albums and also the protective sleeves. Now again, this is a blues album, Delta Blues, obviously why it's Delta Cream. The only song that I knew on here was Crawling King Snake, and on this it was John Lee Hooker song, but the other songs on here I had never heard before. And usually with blues, you can feel like an album is going to drag some. But on this album, it plays, again, like kind of like the Royal Blood. It plays really quick and through. Doesn't have any dragging in it. Doesn't have where you feel like, oh, you know, there's a song, I need to flip the song and go on to a new one, you know, when you're trying to listen to it. It's really, really good take on it, and it was nice to introduce me to these songs that I'd never heard before. The quality seems really good off of it. Again, Dan Auerbach and Patrick Carney have two other players on here, Eric Deaton and Kenny Brown. Again, a complete change from what they had done on their last album, which was Let's Rock. So having this blues album, it was nice to get some new songs of that. The one thing that I noticed on both these albums too is, though, if you notice on the back, getting to see some albums now that are made in Germany. I'm not sure if it's because of the pressing plants over here are not able to keep up with it, but both it and the made in Germany also for the Royal Blood album. The Black Keys is just black on that. It had a smoke-colored album that was for the indie release, which I didn't pre-order. It seems to be that anytime you're now getting a double album set, it's pretty close to $30 for that. The Black Keys was like $28.99. I think the Royal Blood wound up being like $25.99. So you're starting to see that if you're buying a new album now, it's going to cost you almost $30. So you want to make sure that you're picking up something that you're going to like, and sometimes that's hard to figure out. Especially, I like these two bands, so I wanted to put it in my collection. They're both really good albums, ones that I'll come back to. But there's the new releases that are coming out now. They're coming out because everybody has been, because the pandemic has been obviously in their own studio and recording, and there's lots of new releases that are coming out. Wallflowers are coming out with a new album. I hadn't had one in 8 years. Looks like Leon Bridges is coming out with a new album. The Black Pumas is coming out with a live album. I think the St. Paul and the Broken Bones is supposed to come out with a Record Store Day live album, but I think that one's been now pushed to the July Record Store date. Duran Jones and the Indications coming out with an album. Anderson East is coming out with another album relatively soon. So there's a lot of new music coming out. So I thought I would give you the two that I just picked up and go through those. Two-piece member bands. Both were really good, completely different from what they had previously put out. So again, this is Tracy with Record Fuel. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Hi there, we're at the Kansas City Zoo. I'll give you a little background on it. It was first built in 1909. The first expansion was in 1912. Through the years, they've had lots of expansions and things going on. Right now, they're in the process of starting the expansion to build an aquarium. In the past few years, they've put in a stingray bay and also a penguin habitat. So we're going to go in. It's on a Sunday. Seems to be a lot of people here today. But let's go visit the Kansas City Zoo. So being on a Sunday, it was really busy today. We weren't able to take in the Stingray Bay or the penguin habitat. We wanted to not wait in line and wanted to make sure we could get in as much as we did today. And the zoo is on a really manicured and lush ground. So if you ever get a chance, please stop on by the Kansas City Zoo. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.